I will be creating the most beautiful and most compact hiver base in Kenshi. A very small reminder that it is a hive only challenge. If you guys can remember, in the last episode my whole squad got enslaved, but luckily we prevailed very easily. But we're not gonna talk about that, since I don't want to brag about how skilled I am at the game of Kenshi, you know? I sold all the loot from the raids we had last video, netting us a pretty penny. I also used a lot of our research books for things such as tech level 3. Look, one thing in Kenshi you can never have enough of is books. Wait, no, I mean these. And preferably loads too, because every research needs them. You also have these, but those are for more complicated researches, not really needed at my current stage. So back at the base I took all the loot for a second run and headed over to the hub to sell it, since the way station that is nearby was out of cash. I've arrived at the hub and I found this unconscious Zug Raider that was a hiver, which might become a very nice recruit. After selling everything, I went ahead and bought some farming supplies, so that later on I could start with some research for that and become self-sufficient. Because now I'm just relying on stealing the food and buying it, which is extremely expensive. There's always tens of people fighting in the hub, so I went ahead and stole some weapons since everybody is too occupied fighting with each other, which is also a very nice money making method. So after selling everything, we're left with 68k. The term I would use at the moment is that we are balling. After finally becoming somewhat rich, I went ahead and blew 1/3 of our money on books, which is really nice since I could have just stolen everything.
Which, by the way, doesn't cost anything.
Oh well, nothing to do about it now. Back at base, I went ahead with the construction of windmills, which I would later move to the top of the mountain at a way nicer spot with shift F12. On my way home I saw some bandits fighting and joined the brawl. The South Hub ninjas are also mad at me, so I am also at war with them. But I think they're too small of a faction to actually send raids towards me. But as you can see, my guys are becoming pretty strong, especially these two. A puny bandit doesn't stand a chance anymore. Back at base, I upgraded the research pens to level 3 since I am done researching that. Now that the windmills are done, I place them on top of this hill over here. I think this is such a good place for them since it sticks out and it isn't in the way. Though, if you use F12, the hitboxes are still on the same place they were before, so watch out. Just save with F5 and then restart with F9, which is pretty easy. Make sure to do that if you use the F12 menu so that the hitboxes get updated and you know if everything is right. I also did some more research which also included tech level 4, which is pretty nice because it's pretty high up there already. I went to the nearby way station to sell even more loot. And again we were caught off guard. I really need walls, man. But to be honest, they are not fighting bad, my guys. Finally. Though these guys aren't the strongest opponents, but it's nice to see we can fend off some squads for once, instead of being beaten to almost death and then being enslaved. After beating these guys, we stole some of their loot, since it's not bad to be honest, you know, high grade and stuff like that. It's really good to give some of our hivers those clothing, since they are very vulnerable right now, because some of them don't even have real clothing. Since we had so many backpacks, I went ahead and gave everyone that was at least a tiny bit strong one, so that they could carry more. And same thing can be said for armor, because almost everyone has at least a shoddy grade chest piece. I also went ahead to get bifacial research pens, since if you didn't know, you can just build a small research pens next to your big one, and both of them work, so your research is going a lot faster in that case. Since there are thousands of hours of research that you have to complete. I went to search for some research books when I stumbled upon this Czech weapon shop. which is, to be honest, so nice. The quality is extremely good and a lot of different weapons. I mean, just look at it. So many different weapons, whom all are from the highest grade weapons that exist in Kenshi. Even a Meitu no Dachi, which is a giant two-handed katana. And if you didn't know, Meitu is the highest grade weapon in the game. And to even have it as an Odachi is extremely cool, because those things are so cool in battle and they do huge amounts of damage. Back at base, some Kral's Chosen ambushed us. Again, by the way, I still have no walls. I don't know why. Luckily it was a small squad, but you know, Kral's Chosen are never with a lot of guys. So it's all good, I guess. Free training. The reason why this video is a lot later is because I've been kind of addicted to playing Pokemon Heart Gold on my old Nintendo DS Lite. If any of you people know that game. Reasoning is because I changed the shiny rate from 1 in 8K to 1 in 265 or 256. So I just really want to have every shiny. It's, you know, kind of stupid, but I really enjoy it, to be honest. At the moment I'm at that shiny Gyarados. I've just got it for the people that know the storyline. But yeah, it's just my bad, because last video I said I was gonna upload a new episode pretty fast, but you know, it's not really fast at the moment, you know. But to be honest, all the Pokemon games are just so good, man. What do you expect from me, you know? Well, back to the video. And as you can see, I'm organizing the weapons, distributing them to the most competent warriors in my squad, which I think is very nice, because they just deal so much damage with these great weapons. I think these weapons help us very much, and I do not think any slavers or some other squad that, you know, from those small clans can even penetrate us really, or our squad, and really kill some of our people or enslave them, even worse. As you can see, this is the first moment our new weapons are actually in action, which is pretty nice, but they just ran to the top. But as you can see, the damage is just immaculate, just very, very nice, and just, I don't know how many times I'm gonna say just, but it's just very good, you know. I also started construction of a small shack at our outpost, though I think I will be removing this later on in the series. As you can see, I'm using F12 again to place it more inside of the hill over here. But the reasoning why I delete this shack later is because it just makes my game crash anytime I try to go in it. I went ahead and stole from the Shinobi Thief skin, since these guys always have nice weapons and are unconscious a lot of times, since they fight so much in the hub and other places. And as you can see right here, we're already stacked again in terms of equipment we can sell, which is just extremely nice. Though they did catch me, it was only one dude, so I just took the 1v1 and took him out. And there we go. You know, I think it's pretty nice to see I can actually win against these guys too, since they're not just some useless shack that are debuffed to the max with their bad armor, but these guys actually have armor that buffs them. Though while trying to revive him for some 8 experience, the shop guards kind of jumped me. But luckily my guy is very fast, so at the moment I just ran away, since my guy was already very injured, and I went back home. But I mean, just look at that loot, man, it's just crazy nice. Like a lot of ancient science books and other type of research books, and just a lot of equipment I can sell again for some money. Whilst going home, I found a group of unconscious hungry bandits that were on the losing end of battle with some bone dogs. Since these bone dogs were injured, I thought why not take them out for some free loot and experience. And the good thing is, you can see I actually do 100 damage or more to these guys, because they don't have armor. But to be honest, that's really great. But I already was a bit, you know, wounded, I'd say. And these guys were with a lot, so I have been downed many times by them, but luckily they didn't start eating me. One unfortunate thing is they only hit my chest and my chest and my chest, so that's the reason why I went down that many times, just because they only went for my chest. But if I was a bit more careful, I don't think they would have even touched me, since this hit and run tactic is working very nice. And on the other hand, if I get knocked down, these guys don't seem to try to eat me, so it's just nice toughness experience. But in the end, I was the one that prevailed and I got a lot of meat and animal hide, which is really nice. Stole some more books from the local bookstore. To be honest, I think this guy is just broke, very, very broke. I do not know how he gets that many books every time because he almost gets robbed every night. But you know, it's for a good cause. And he doesn't mind. Nah, right? I also did my daily sparring match with the bookshop guard. After that grand adventure, I finally went home. I also placed down a storage box for fowl meat and hide, since both of those are used for hiver buildings, and since I'm doing a hiver only playthrough, I also want to use some of those buildings. I used a small shack for some temporary prisoner management, which were just really needed at this stage. I also of course did some research. I also tried some new buildings, but this one just wasn't it. Finally made a stone processor so that the stone that is mined can finally become building materials. I also treated myself to some more materials from the local traders. And I also checked out this Ticton faction, which is pretty cool. Those guys are actually very close to my base, but to be honest, these guys are getting destroyed by random factions and wolves and stuff. But since I like them so much, in the future I'm going to try to help them out some by giving them some limbs and better weapon and armor, since now they're just working with some basic clubs and no armor. But I really enjoy the thought of another hive faction that lives so close to me, with all different hive races. Kind of my vision I also had, but without my help these guys don't really stand a chance, since they're already on the brink of destroyed. The Shaq Kingdom have come for tribute, but since I'm way too weak to fight them at the moment, I will now just give them their tribute and try to befriend them maybe even. I went inside this bar, not thinking much of it, but apparently there are loads of lost drones in here I can recruit for a measly 2k cats, which is extremely useful in the future in case I need some farmers, research or smiths. By the way, the prisoner pools have been constructed and I already have a lot of prisoners I can use. I try to befriend the free traders over here, which is really nice. The reason for this is because I just need some allies, and these guys are not the best fighters, but if you're allied with them you can trade with them, and they check out my base very often, so it's really nice to have them befriended. I gave him a bunch of valuable shit so he could take that home, and then we were allies. As you can see, the Moorhouse is actually ready, but I just didn't like the look of it, and at its place I wanted to build a wall, and placing it inside this wasn't working. It was shooting up every time, or at least after I tried to reload it and get the hitboxes right. I also just didn't really enjoy the building as much as I thought. There was also a trader which I bought a CPU unit from and sold some other stuff to. Did some more research. I used some ramps who are normally used for walls and moved them over so I could create some sort of bigger ramp slash staircase towards the building up there that has been a blueprint for way too long, and I can't wait for it to be built. I also bought a bone dog pup and called it Jaw. And I'm happy to say that the ramp is actually working, so this is extremely nice. I can use it for a lot of other stuff, and this extremely tight and small base can become something pretty big. And I think you know the drill by now. Start very early in the morning to steal from the bookshop again. I think you can guess it, even more stealing. I also fought the Sawed Out Ninjas again, which to be honest are no longer really a threat to me anymore. Back at base, the construction of the station house is coming along pretty well. The only problem we really have is at the moment the lack of iron, but I have a solution for that in the future. I stole a teeny tiny bit more. To be honest, the food I'm stealing right now is so useful. I really needed food at the moment. Some of my guys were kind of very hungry, and since I now have a food barrel, I can actually just put every food item in one barrel and they automatically eat from it, which is really nice. But you know, food is very expensive, so it's really nice I could just steal it from here and not worry about it for a few days. I thought it was about time for some more workers since I'm gonna need them in the future. Some traders were absolutely destroying this bandit hideout that was close by, which is something I was quite happy about since they were ambushing me frequently and it was just annoying, especially when I was encumbered and couldn't run away. I tried taking on some band of bones with my caravan drone over here. Somehow this one guy survived for this long after taking that many hits, so his friends could come and jump me. So I ran away heroically. When arriving at AdMac, I checked some shops, and they had a bookstore, so you know the drill. When checking the base, I saw that the station house was finally ready, and it is very cool to be honest. It's on a nice place, there's a ladder going up to it, and I think I'm gonna make this some sort of prison, since it's so secure. Over at the station house, I found some nice spots for some crossbows, which is really cool because they can shoot from above, and I think they're way more accurate that way. So from a building over here, I try to build up because there's iron nodes here, and that's the way I can get iron plates, and all my building problems will be solved. But little did I know this was gonna be a big task, since you couldn't build from up here on top of these buildings. For some reason, they just don't use the ramp in that case. That took a long time for me to figure out. Working around it was also very, very slow. By the way, this is in 100x speed, more than a minute every second that you watch, so yeah, it was pretty painful for me. So right now it was another day and I just gave up from trying it from the house itself, but around it it worked pretty fast and pretty okay, I'd say. So it's finally working. And as you can see, they can come up here now and I can start letting them mine. I also think it's pretty cool that I actually can come close to the windmills now, because it would be a bit unrealistic if I couldn't even come close to them, you know, for some sort of maintenance thingy or whatever. I chose to build a hiver building over here. I don't know what I'm gonna place in it yet, but I do know it's just a cool place because it really shows hiver, you know, as a civilization. And it shows it on a very seeable place, if you know what I mean. Like if you come from outside, you can actually see it and it's not tucked somewhere in a corner. I am happy I saved that foul meat because now I can actually construct this thing. So, and again, I am ambushed because I wasn't paying attention, but it's actually from Slaver, so this is pretty bad. If I lose this, it's gonna be last episode all over again. This battle is actually so close, I can see wounded from both sides. The only problem is they are with more people, but I think we do have the quality over quantity maybe. And in the end we were victorious, luckily. This time we're not gonna be enslaved. And ladies and gentlemen, the hive hut is constructed finally. I think it looks pretty nice up there. It actually stands out, yeah. I'm happy with it. I also placed a watchtower at this place. I think it's an awesome place because it can shoot from above potentially, or also become some sort of prisoner management place, or something else. I don't know. It's just a pretty cool place in my opinion, and I think it stands well there. In my opinion, the left side of my base is already pretty packed and cool. But stay tuned because I'm not gonna leave it here. Everything was going well and then this huge group of Band of Bones come at me. I've never seen this big of a group of Band of Bones. Will I be victorious this time? Just a little after that slaver raid, these guys can hit a pretty big punch. Jeez, that's a lot. And I don't think they're here to just talk. But then again, we also have soldiers. But I do not know if it will be enough. Welcome to the outland settlers, the land of godless. I started off by firing a bolt at them. And I let my formation loose. They outnumber us 2-1. We are losing heavily. Casualties left and right. And I'd say in the end we lost. But we at least dealt a lot of damage to them. But they just hit so hard at the moment. We really need some better armor. Okay, these guys luckily do know when to leave. And I'm just happy that none of my guys are extremely damaged and I can start right away with bandaging them. Luckily, licking our wounds is way easier now with these nice beds. I cannot catch a break. Luckily, these ninjas are not as good as those shack warriors. So I think we can take them on. Look at that, we're absolutely steamrolling them. Especially Swarm Protector over here with its extremely good Nodachi that's made to grade. To deal so much damage to even armor too. I tried to recruit this Stickton soldier because he's purple, but he does not want to join me sadly. One day I will have a Southern Hiver. I just think their colors are so cool and kind of exotic since I do not really see them that much. But just look at all the loot in the research bands. It's absolutely crazy. In the last battle with the Band of Bones, I actually lost some arms on my Hivers, if you believe it or not. Primarily the workforce, since they don't really have weapons and they just don't have a lot of HP, you know? So I was stealing it over here from this doctor, which is just really nice. But I think there's way better legs if I would go somewhere to like the Skeleton City. You might wonder what I'm doing right now. I'm actually taking away the limbs of Swarm Protector over here. He has the best armor and the best weapon. And if I give him some better limbs that actually give him some buffs, he's gonna be even stronger. And his limbs are also gonna be more HP than just 100, the standard 100. And that's gonna be crazy and very nice. So at the moment I'm running back with the limbs and I'm gonna give them to Swarmclaw Protector when I'm back. And other limbs that I don't need, I'm just gonna give to the workforce because those guys, I mean, who cares about them, you know? I had sent Caravan Drone to the swamp for a drug run. That's by far the best and easiest way to make huge amounts of money. I also have a mod that added devil powder that is even more expensive than hashish. Wait, let me explain it to you. So you start out in the swamp and buy the drugs from all the villages over there. And then later on you go to Fletch Lagoon and sell it for a huge markup, like 400% or something. I don't really like abusing this too much because it's just way too OP. But to use it sometimes, it's fine by me. So we are currently at Fletch Lagoon and just look at our money going up. The barkeep is out of money almost immediately. So I just resort to buying books, which I can never have enough of. So at the end of this trip, we are left with a bunch of books and 108k gas. Alright, so it's the next day, but immediately you can see that we are attacked by some slave traders. Though I did check the map, and as you can see, it is not really a raid, it's more just a random party that was wandering about and is now attacking us. That's also just one thing I love about Kenshi, it's the randomness, you know, you can get attacked by this group and then that group, and sometimes even by a group that doesn't even send out raids, you know, but they do send out some patrols. And if those patrols see you, they of course attack you. But back to these slavers, we dealt with them pretty easily, to be honest. One reason for this is because these are slave traders and not slavers. As you can see, it's just a normal guard, and the attack parties that are sent to us are always heavy guards, which are way stronger. As you can see, we dealt with them very swiftly. At the moment, I am strength training these four. I just let 3 of them follow the lowest speed member and then select the member and shift click between 2 points. What happens is they walk in a moving order, so they first go to your first click, then your second, then your third, and so on. This is a way for you to let them strength train very long and without any pathfinding issues, and even within the safety of your own walls. It's very nice, neat little trick that I think I learned for TRM Plays. Make sure to check him out, he makes loads of fun videos. So I want to create some sort of wall, but that wall also consists of 2 buildings, kind of pointing outwards. So it's very easy for me to put some harpoons on them and protect the inner gate. I also recruited 4 new hivers. Their names are Borek the Builder, Bran the Builder, Bob the Builder, and Bok the Builder. I can finally get some construction done, because previously it was just so extremely slow. So we are back at base and the buildings have been constructed. I immediately started with building the gate because I did not want to be ambushed again. I also chose for, instead of a wall, not a building in between, because more building is more space, and more space is always good in my opinion. And it also fit really well in between. And it is done. These new builders are actually helping me so much. I wanted to make this place some sort of a shop since it's so close to the gate, so in case any buyers want to come in, they just can go straight to their left and inside and buy some stuff. So at the moment, this is what I made of it. I've placed just a little chill place over there with a rug and 2 counters where people can buy stuff from, which I think is pretty cool. Also kind of separated the seat from the counter, so it feels a little more private, somewhat. I'm gonna make this building way better and way more lively and a lot more stools and stuff, but that comes later on. I want to make this some sort of a chill place where everyone can come. Also outsiders can just come and chill over there. I don't think Kenshi allows random NPCs to sit in your seats. But you know, nevertheless, I can make my NPCs sit there and let just the travelers buy some stuff if they want to. I also placed down some harpoons, finally, but just look at how good they can reach the gate. This is absolutely perfect. I have also finally decided to do something with that huge building over here. Firstly, I just placed down some ceiling lamps, but I think I'm gonna make this actually a prison that's actually big instead of just the outhouse, you know? By the way, anytime I need to go to the hub, I also have to go through the south hub ninjas, or at least that's what the pathfinding takes me to. And I always just come here to fight with them a little bit because they always aggro on me, but they're just way too damaged at the moment to actually do any type of difference to me. Also, I go a lot of times to the hub still to steal some books, but I'm just not gonna show you guys that because you already have seen that like for 4 times already. I also saw these dust bandits outside just fighting and I thought, why not join in? We just absolutely annihilate these guys now. Dust bandits pose little to no threat to us. I was kind of scared when I saw arrived at your headquarters and assault. But this is actually a shopping assault and these guys are good guys and they just buy from your shops. And they actually bought a lot of my junk equipment I had left over. I have finally started construction of the prison. I think this is just gonna look terrific. Just absolutely beautiful. I also went on another drug run, which went pretty well. After that, I also recruited one of my prisoners, Slippery Braxton. He's actually really good with dexterity and all that stuff because he was a shinobi thief before. I think I'm gonna have this guy in charge of the prisoner watch. Just look at our workforce right now, by the way. We have grown by so much the past couple days. A lot of the prisoners on the prisoner pools are just gonna starve to death because some of them are dust bandits that have wronged us in the past, and some of them are caravan guards that are just absolute jackasses. They do not deserve to be freed, and we can also not recruit them since they are from other races than a Hiver. I am also acquiring a lot of shoddy grade economic limbs, but the reason for that is something I want to keep secret for now. If this isn't a site to build, I do not know what is. I absolutely adore our little shithole over here we call our base, and it's still long not done. Absolutely beautiful, in my opinion. Just the location too, and the fact I can use the F12 menu to make so much more space and use so much more space. At the moment I am still very much enjoying this playthrough. I also made a little crafting corner in the shop building. This makes it even more lively and it's starting to take real shape in my opinion. One thing I find very cool is a setting you can enable if your NPCs don't have anything to do and you have some type of chair nearby, they just go ahead and sit on it, which I think is really cool. It makes it a lot more lively, and some chairs even make them do some tasks like drinking or something, which just makes it so much more lively. I mean, just look at this for example, it actually feels like a real town in Kenshi. I mean, a little bit. Small town, but a town nevertheless. Well, this sucks. This is a pretty sizable stack of shack warriors. Luckily we have a few harpoons set up right now. So the damage to deal is loads less compared to no gate and no crossbow turrets. But still, a pretty sizable stack is at our front door and the door is broken open. This is not good. Don't mind that flying building, by the way, I'm gonna fix that in a moment. But this is actually the first raid from the Band of Bones we have successfully defended. So I think the gates and harpoons are already a huge help and a huge improvement to before. I went ahead and stole some more limbs so I could make some more Cybernetic hivers. Back at home, we were absolutely ambushed for the, I don't know even how many times it has been. Even with the gates, I still get ambushed. It's insane. But this time, actually with the gates open, we won. I would not say easily, but we did win. And that's what it's about. But I do think the slave traders are going to be my least favorite faction after this playthrough. I finally found a place I could rename my caravan drone hiver at, which is something I've wanted to do for a while now. I decided on the name Thor, since it's kind of a bulky dude, not necessarily Greek mythology Thor, but I just thought it sounded pretty badass. My main swarm claw protector, better hiver Cybernetic, since he just looks absolutely awesome with them, and he's already very strong and it makes him even stronger. I also wanted to make Hiver Piercer extremely fast. And I would say it worked absolutely flawlessly. I mean, look at this. 46 miles per hour is crazy. That's even faster than beep things. I also found a place for another house. I'm just gonna build some ramps to get into it. I think the way it is now, it's absolutely beautiful. Very cool place, and that high up just looks cool in my opinion anyways. While still busy laddering up to the other building, I already got excited to place another one, and that's what I did. Putting it up there was definitely the right call. This type of building fits perfectly with the way the hill is structured, and it looks absolutely sick up there. I only need to place a few ramps and I can already reach it. Which is something I went to do right away, and my character reached it perfectly. You can go up and down, and you can go inside and outside, it's just perfect. Really cool place for a really cool building. Damn, look at this. I just placed down some lights and this just looks absolutely beautiful. Really cool. And it's actually almost taken shape as to how I want it. Go back there in the back of my base. I can still place a lot of buildings, but this is already so cool. I can always expand outside. It's just so cool, man. I love this base. This is, by the way, how a normal small squad goes up against one of our bases right now. Man, what the fuck? We got this! Wait, what? I was actually gonna cut right to all of us on the ground, like kind of as a joke. But we somehow survived that, which is just a miracle in my opinion. But just look at this bloodbath, man. Absolutely crazy. But I think this is a nice place to leave it up. The video has gone on for long enough if you compare it to my other videos. And I think it's a pretty nice point to stop. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if that's the case, please be sure to subscribe. And by the way, have a nice day.